Well, hello. Thank you for coming back. Some of you saw my first video last week. Know my name is Rick Morrow, and I'm starting my own channel called Inspirational Wine. Open a bottle of wine here. It's a channel about wine and people. And welcome. Thank you for pushing the little tab, and I'll explain more what this is all about. Again, Rick Morrow, Inspirational Wine. This is a channel. It's going to be about storytelling and learning about the wine world, and also learning a bit about yourself as we go through this journey. What I do is, well, let me back up a little bit. I've been in the wine industry for 17 years, in multiple levels, everything from selling to being a buyer, and I absolutely love it. And I'm not a certified sommelier, but I do come to the table with 17 years of experience of this. So welcome. So what I like to do is, when I talk about wine, I like to talk about the regions. And I like to shop that way as well, which I want to show you the habits, because it just seems a lot easier to understand wine, because it is a mass universe. This is going to be a 10-part series, California, and I'm going to talk about the different regions, and because when you buy a bottle of wine, you turn around, look at the label, you'll see where California is from, and as time goes on, you're going to learn the profiles, how those regions differ, and how cool that can really be. And also it helps for a backup plan when you go out to find something that's not available. So if you understand the wines in the areas, and these are just basics, we don't have to dive into all crazy kind of stuff. So where it all began was the North Coast. That's what put California on the map, and it's Mendocino County. That's the most northern district, region, I should say, in California. So they're the people that put California on the map. And what they're known for is they grow Chardonnay, Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Noir, Sauvignon Blanc, Syrah, and widely known Anderson Valley for sparkling wines. That's great sparklers from that, for what they do in that area. And so that's a region, and you might have seen some of those in some bottles you've purchased or in restaurants that's been served to you. So then there's Lake County. They produce Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Chardonnay, and Sauvignon Blanc. Kind of the mainstream, very familiar varietals that a lot of people are aware of. So that's Lake County. And then you got Sonoma County, one of the more well-known counties. 500 plus wineries in Sonoma. They're known for producing Pinot Noir, other varietals such as Chardonnay, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Sauvignon Blanc, Zinfandel. And within Sonoma County, then you have districts that I call districts. You have the Russian River Valley, you have Los Carneros, which is part of Napa, Alexander Valley, Chalk Hill, Dry Creek, and Knights Valley. So I'm sure you've heard of some of these. You've probably had some of them. Really, another fantastic area. All of California, it's just amazing. The different wines and the different what they call terroir. That's the dynamics of the vineyard. What comes out of California, and I've had the opportunity to work alongside with a lot of winemakers, and they've shared not only their wines with me, but their stories and their experiences. And it's a very rewarding business. If you enjoy people. That's why I've been in this for 17 years. Just absolutely love it. And then we move on to the rock star, Napa. I mean, everybody, if they talk California, the first thought is Napa. 600 plus wineries, another huge district. You're going to have the likes of Mount Veeder, Carneros, Howell Mountain, Oakville, Rutherford, Yountville, Stag's Leap, and they're growing Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnay, Chenin Blanc, Merlot, Pinot Noir, Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, and Zinfandel. Again, we've all heard of Napa, and that's unbelievable. And restaurants. You like restaurants? If you ever, for traveling and you really want to experience the true essence of dining, Napa puts out amazing. The chefs and the restaurants out there are just incredible. Really something to think about. And next on the chart is Los Carneros. They're next to Sonoma and Napa, ideal for Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. They produce world-class sparkling wines. So Los Carneros, yes, that's, if you're out looking at some sparkling wines and you're on the fence, take a look at this region. They put out some great, incredible sparkling wines at a reasonable price too. This is an endorsement. It's just my experience coming from the industry. And then we move on to the big region, Central Coast. Very large region. It's split into two. You got the North region and the Southern region. In the North region, they Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, Viognier, Gewürztraminer. Those are some of the varietals that they grow. Gewürztraminer, it's a German varietal. It's a white wine. For those of you who have not tried it, great summer wine, a little spritzy in the front of the tongue, very refreshing. So that's what's going on in the North Central Coast. Then in the Southern region, you got the grape varietals they're putting out. It's Syrah, Grenache, Mourvedre, known as Rhone varietals from France. One of my favorite regions. Just love those blends. Very, very, very delicious. And they also do Italian blends, Barbera and Sangiovese. Sangiovese is the wine or the grape that they use in Chianti predominantly. So when you're tasting a Chianti, the bulk of the grape in the bottle is Sangiovese. There's other blends in there as well, but that's Chianti, which is a region. But we'll get into that when I do Italy. So then there's Zinfandel, good old American Zinfandel, Paso Roble. They're great. They're known for putting out amazing Zinfandels, red Zinfandels. So yeah, keep that on your radar. And Pinot Noir is another one, and Chardonnay. Those are varietals from France, from the Burgundy region. So yeah, that's the southern region. And then you have your counties, your regions or districts within your region. With the northern Central Coast, you got Livermore Valley, Monterey County, and Santa Cruz Mountains. The reason I'm bringing these up is because on the back of the bottles, you're going to notice these. And as time goes on, you're going to understand the profiles that these areas, how unique they are from other areas of California that may fit your palate. And when you're also out exploring, you'll have a little bit more of an idea of what you're going into in your venture. And then the southern Central Coast, you got forgive me if I'm pronouncing some of these wrong. So again, I apologize. St. Luis, Obispo County, Paso Roble, and Santa Barbara County. So that's in the southern Central Coast. Like I said, it's very large. As we say in the industry, a lot of the wines from that area are fruit forward. And so people are like, what's fruit forward? A lot of wines have, I like to distinct either fruit or style. And of course, some have both. Um, as time goes on, your palate gets more and more educated. Um, Myself being in the industry so long and growing up making wine as a kid, I developed an old world palate. So I really enjoy style. And there is style in Central Coast. But a lot of the wines you really get that upfront fruit, which is very satisfying, especially for younger palates. So that's something industry talk that people share. So yeah, fruit forward. If you didn't know what that meant, it's just as soon as the wine hits your palate, you get that flavor of the fruit. So again, that's southern Central Coast. Now you have the Central Valley. This is the workhorse of California. They put out a lot of juice, and they produce 3/4 of the state's grapes. Huge region. You're going to have counties like Sacramento, I believe it's Yolo. Again, I apologize if these are not pronounced correctly. San Joaquin, Madera, and Fresno. A company I worked for years and years and years ago, we were moving and selling some wine from this area, and unbelievable. They were just showing so well, very excellent wines. As time goes on, I can share those with you. Yeah, that's quite an impressive area as well. Like I said, they produce 3/4 of the state's grapes. A lot going on there. And moving down the list, then you have the Sahara foothills. Amador County, they produced top quality Zinfandels, red Zinfandels, Italian Barbera, and Sangiovese. As you heard me talk before about the Sangiovese, Chianti blend, nice and dry, great varietal. Another one of my favorites. So as you were a kid growing up, and Grandpa pulled out that bottle of wine with the wicker around it, and if any of you have stories about that, I'd love it for you to share with me. And probably some of that was Sangiovese in that bottle. And they also put out the Syrah and Viognier. Those are some French Rhone varietals as well. This industry is so large in the wine world, as the planet, we all have, to other people, accents. I've been removed from New York to Florida 30 years ago, so some of my pronunciations might be a little challenged. So if I am off on any of those, I apologize to anybody, and you're more than happy to point them out to me. Every day's a school day, and I appreciate that. So yeah, so Southern California, they're the last on the list. Cooler coastal to warm inland valleys, Malibu, Temecula Valley, San Diego County, they're in the game as well, with some standout wines being produced as well. Like I said, these are just little boxes to get your mind into. My brother, who's worldly traveled, and he's lived in Europe, and he said the best way to learn how to understand wine is just stay in a region and just stay in that region for a year or 2 years. I mean, you got your whole life. I mean, take your time, enjoy it, discover it, and you understand that region. It just really clarifies the whole process, and then you do what wine's about. It's exploring and discovering. You go out and you pick another region. You stay in that region for whatever your comfort zone allows, 6 months, a year, 2 years, or whatever, and you explore that region, and you just stay in that region, and then you come out of that, and so on and so on. And it's really rewarding to understand the rewards of all this, and especially when it comes to your wallet. Sometimes people will buy wine just because, oh, it costs more, it must be more. or be better. That's not the truth. I mean, property in some parts of the world costs less than other properties in other parts of the world. Their overhead's lower in other parts of the world. So it is a business. There is factors in there. I'm not saying that, but that is just a rule you might want to keep in mind. But that's what this is about, is just to show you how to alleviate that thought process and just, you know, be more comfortable in it. And you'll share it with friends, you share it with family. When you have experienced this and knowledge and you start to explain it to people, share, they will listen. It's a nice place to be, and it's just a nice thing to share. Myself, I come from a large Italian Irish family, predominantly raised Italian. There was always wine everywhere, at dinner, holidays, making it, my neighbors, my dad, my uncles, my brother. I mean, it was just a part of life, and it's a wonderful part of life, and I just want to share this with you, and I want you to benefit from this, everything from consuming it to buying it, and know how to spread your money around, and really take this to heart. And like I said, it's very personal. So that's the beginning of California. Next week it's going to be Chardonnay, and California Chardonnay, and it's going to be dedicated to the ladies, because they are the driving force in the market. The ladies drink more Chardonnay than men, and there'll also be a love story attached to the end of the segment. It's a true story. I wrote it myself, so please tune in for that. It's an incredible story. It really, really is, and I will explain that next week. So it's about two people, unimaginable forces that they had to deal with on a biblical level. I know this sounds over the top, but this is true. This is for real, and it's my parents, and it really resonates. What they went through and what they came out of and what they did, raising a large family and being part of the fabric of the community, and you know, we're just it's interesting. You'll just have to tune in next week to see it, and just how they overcome all these unbelievable atrocities. So till next week. Oh, Regal's sitting over. Regal wants to say hello. I don't think he can make up his mind. He's a little sleepy, but he's looking at me with one eye. So I said Regal will be joining us every week. So for those of you who haven't met Regal, this is Regal. He's my wingman. He's what keeps me in balance. He keeps me on those days where it's rough. And if you saw my last video, I'm the Rixicle. On the last video, how he helped me through when I went through some rough times in surgery when I came home. So he was there for me. This is Regal. He'll be joining us. Again, he's my wingman, not that kind of wingman. The wingman I talk about is the wingmen from World War II, the pilots. They're going through chaos, and when they were going through hardship, he had his wingman next to him to depend on, and that's what this little guy is. So you'll see more of him. He's my little guy, and I hope you'll tune in next week. Please subscribe. Hit the little subscribe bar down below, down there, and you'll see a little bell next to it. Hit the bell, and that'll let you know that I'm here. That means you want me to show up, and we can hang out. We can drink some wine. I can teach you some stuff. Regal can hang out with us. You can hang out with your significant other, and we'll just relax and enjoy and finish the week out. So again, Rick Morrow, Spirit Tree on wine, and please subscribe and hit the bell. I'd love to see you next week. And we'll talk about California Chardonnay, dedicated to the ladies, and a love story to go along with it that is absolutely amazing to hear. So thank you so much, and till next week, Spiritry on Wine. God bless.